Hello everyone, in this video we are going to discuss about SQL interview questions and answers. And candidates are likely to be asked basic SQL interview questions to advanced level SQL questions depending on their experience and various other factors. So in this video I will be covering the interview questions for experienced level as well as freshers. So I will be giving around top 50 interview questions in this video. Let's move into the first question. What is DBMS? It is a database management system, which is a program that controls creation, maintenance and use of a database. DBMS can be termed as a file manager that manages data in the database rather than saving it in the file systems. What is SQL? SQL stands for Structured Query Language. It is used to communicate with the database. This is a standard language used to perform tasks such as retrieval, updation, insertion, and deletion of data from the database. And standard SQL command is select. What is RDBMS? RDBMS stands for Relational Database Management System. RDBMS stores the data into the collection of tables which is related by common fields between the columns of the table. It is organized collection of tables. It also provides relational operators to manipulate the data stored into the tables. What is a database? Database is an organized collection of data. This is for easy access, storing, retrieval, and managing of data. Structured form of data can be accessed in many ways. The example for database is School Management Database and Bank Management Database. What are tables and fields? A table is a set of data that are organized in a model with columns and rows. Columns can be categorized as vertical and rows are horizontal. A table has a specified number of columns called fields, but can have any number of rows which is called record. Example, this is the field and this is the record. So the field is the first name, last name, and course ID. What is a primary key? Primary key is a combination of fields which uniquely specify a row. This is a special kind of unique key. This is a set of a column or a set of columns in which the value exists is unique for every record in a table. Each table can have only one primary key. In one table, you cannot have 3 or 4 primary keys. Primary keys are unique identifiers of a table. It cannot contain null values. So primary key values cannot be null. Not all the tables you work with will have a primary key. So in this table, this ID, the customer ID here is the primary key. And in the orders table, customer ID here, you can see here it is mentioned. But however, in this is the primary key. 1, 2, 3. What is a foreign key? A foreign key is one table which can be related to the primary key of another table. Relationship needs to be created between two tables by referencing foreign key with the primary key of another table. So we will use the constraint clause allows to define constraint name for the foreign key. So here we use references and the foreign key here to reference the foreign key with the primary key of the main table. What is a join? Join is the keyword used to query data from more tables based on the relationship between the fields of the tables. Keys play a major role when joins are used. What are the different types of joins? The different types of joins are inner join, left join, right join, and full join. Inner join. Inner join is also called as symbol join, which returns all rows from both tables when it has at least one matching column. Right join returns rows which are common between the tables and all rows of right-hand side of the table. Left join returns rows which are common between the tables and all rows of left-hand side table. Full join returns rows when there are matching rows in any one of the tables, which means it returns all the rows from the left-hand side table and all the rows from the right-hand side table. What are the different types of statements supported by SQL? The different types of statements supported by SQL are DDL, data definition language, that it is used to define the database structure such as tables. Then DML, data manipulation language, which is used to manipulate the data in records, and DCL, data control language, the statements that are used to set privileges, or it is used to grant access permission for the specific user. So let's explain this one by one. What is DDL? DDL is data definition language which is used to define the database structures such as tables. It includes three statements such as create, alter, and drop. And some of the DDL commands here I have given syntax for it. Create, it is used for creating the table. Alter, alter table is used for modifying the existing table object in the database. I have given the syntax for create and alter DDL commands. What is DML? Data manipulation language are the statements used to manipulate the data in the records. The commonly used DML statements are insert, delete, update, and other manipulation languages statements are lock and merge. So I have given the syntax for insert, delete, update, lock, and merge. So insert is used to insert new rows in the tables. Delete command is used to delete a row or the entire table. Update is used to update values of the existing rows of the table. Lock, used to lock the privilege as either write or read. Merge is used to merge two rows of the existing tables in the database. What is DCL? DCL is the data control language. These statements are used to set privileges such as grant and revoke database access permission to the specific user. So the main commands are grant, revoke, and deny. So if in this grant, you will grant the select, insert, update, and delete on privileges for the employee named Almer. Revoke, here we are revoking the permission of insert and the table employees to the particular employee named Almer. So deny, it denies the update option for the employees to the particular employee named Almer. How do we use the distinct statement? What does it use? The distinct statement is used with the select statement. So if the record contains duplicate values, then the distinct statement is used to select different values among the duplicate records. Suppose if we have multiple entries or the duplicate values, if we use the command distinct along with the select, it will avoid showing the duplicate entries. So the syntax will be select distinct table name from table. Select distinct column name from the table. What are the different clauses used in SQL? The different clauses are where, order by, array table, limit, group by, into, having, and option. Where, order by, array table, limit, group by, into, having clause, and option. What is where clause? This clause is used to define the condition, extract and display only those records which fulfill the given condition. So here in this option, we are going to select it will show you the table from apps where the app price is, which is having the value of 50, 60, 110. So it will show only the records which fulfill the given condition within where. What is order by? It defines the order of the query output either by ascending or descending, and ascending ASC is set as the default one, but descending DESC is set explicitly. So when we use the command select star from employee order by employee last name, it will give the result where the employee last name is sorted according to by ascending way. What is group by? It is used with the select statement to group the result of the executed query using the value specified in it. It matches the value with the column name in tables and groups the end result accordingly. So in this option, in this example, it is group. We have used the command group by, that is, the table has been grouped by department ID. What is using clause? Using clause comes in use while working with SQL join. It is used to check equality based on columns when tables are joined. It can be used instead of on clause in join. So the syntax here is select star from employee join department using department ID. What is having clause? This clause is used in association with the group by clause. It is applied to each group of the results or the entire results as a single group. It is similar where clause, but the only difference is you cannot use it without group by clause. Here is an example for having clause. What is the differences between where and having clause in SQL? The where clause specifies the criteria which individual records must meet to be selected by the query. It can be used without the group by clause. The having clause cannot be used without the group by clause. The where clause selects rows before grouping. The having clause selects rows after grouping. The where clause cannot contain aggregate functions. The having clause can contain aggregate functions. Where clause is used to impose condition on select statement as well as single row function, and it is used before group by clause. However, having clause is used to impose condition on group function and is used by group by clause in the query. What is a constraint? Constraint can be used to specify the limit on the data type of table. Constraint can be specified while creating or altering the table statement. Sample of constraints are not null, check, default, unique, primary key, and foreign key. What are transactions? A transaction can be defined as the sequence task that is performed on databases in a logical manner to gain certain results. Operations like creating, updating, deleting records performed in the database come from transactions. What are 4 transaction controls? Commit, rollback, set transaction, and save point. Commit is used to save all changes made through the transaction. Rollback is used to roll back the transaction. Set transaction, it sets the name of the transaction. Save point is used to set the point where the transaction is to be rolled back. What are the aggregate functions in SQL? SQL aggregate functions determine and calculate the values from multiple columns in a table and return a single value. The aggregate functions are count, sum, AVG, which stands for average, max, maximum, min, or minimum. What is auto increment? Auto increment keyword allows the user to create a unique number to be generated when a new record is inserted into the table. Auto increment keyword can be used in an Oracle, and identity keyword can be used in SQL Server. Mostly this keyword can be used whenever primary key is used. What is alias? ALIAS name can be given to the table or column. This name can be referred in where clause to identify the table or column. What is the difference between truncate and delete? Delete is a DML data manipulation command. Truncate is DDL command. Delete can be used where condition with delete. Truncate cannot use where condition with truncate statement. Delete specific rows where condition. Truncate all rows will be removed from the table. Delete is slower because it unused undo segment. Truncate is faster. Delete triggers will get fired. Truncate no triggers will get invoked. Delete won't reset the high level watermark. Truncate reset the high level watermark. Which operator is used in the query for pattern matching? Like. Like is the operator used for pattern matching. Percentage matches 0 or more characters. underscore matching exactly one character. So select star from student where student name like A percentage, where it will gives you the name with starting with A, and select star from student where student name like AMI underscore which matches exactly the same character which has been mentioned here. What are triggers? Triggers in SQL is a kind of stored procedures used to create response to a specific action performed on the tables such as insert, update, and delete. You can invoke triggers explicitly on the table in the database. Action and event are two main components of SQL triggers. When certain actions are performed, the event occurs in response to that action. Here is the syntax for trigger. What is SQL injection? SQL injection is a type of database attack technique where malicious SQL statements are inserted into an entry field of database in a way that once it is executed, the database is exposed to an attacker for the attack. This technique is usually used for attacking data-driven applications to have access to sensitive data and perform administrative tasks on databases. What is the difference between drop and truncate? Truncate removes all rows from the table which cannot be retrieved back. Drop removes the entire table from the database and it is also cannot be retrieved back. What is a relationship? How many types of relationships are there? The relationship can be defined as the connection between more than one table in the database. There are 4 types of relationship: one-to-one relationship, many-to-one relationship, many-to-many relationship, and one-to-many relationship. Which TCP IP port does SQL Server run? By default, SQL Server runs on the port 1433. Differences between truncate, delete, and drop commands. Delete removes some or all rows from the table based on the conditions and it can be rolled back. Truncate removes all rows from the table by deallocating the memory pages. The operations cannot be rolled back. Drop command removes the table from the database completely and cannot be rolled back. Define union, minus, union all, and intersect. Minus. It returns all distinct rows selected by the first query but not by the second. Union returns all distinct rows selected by either query. Union all returns all rows selected by either query, including all duplicates. Intersect returns all distinct rows selected by both the queries. Differences between SQL and MySQL. SQL is a programming language used to issue instructions to a relational database management system. MySQL is an open source relational database management system. SQL used to issue Instructions about how data is to be inserted, manipulated, removed, or accessed within the RDBMS. MySQL used to store data for manipulation and retrieval in the future. SQL, you need to learn the language to use it. MySQL is readily available through download and installation. SQL is fixed and not updatable, and MySQL is regularly updated. What is the main difference between and in condition operators? Between operator is used to display rows based on range of values in rows. In condition operator is used to check for values contained in specific set of values. In this example, select star from students where roll number between 10 and 50. It will display the student details with the roll numbers between 10 and 50. It can be any roll number 11, 12, 13 or anything between 50. And example of in, which is select star from students where roll number in brackets 8, 15, 25. It will only give the details of students with the roll numbers 8, 15 and 25. List some case manipulation functions in SQL. There are 3 case manipulation functions in SQL. They are lower. This function returns the strings in lower case, which is syntax is just lower. In the brackets, you will give the string name which needs to be in lower case. Upper, this function returns all the string in uppercase. The syntax is just upper. In brackets, you will give the string. init cap, this function returns the string with the first letter in uppercase and rest of the letters in lowercase. What are the different set operators available in SQL? The set operators are minus, union, and intersect. What lists the various privileges that a user can grant to another user? The privileges where the user can grant to other users are select, connect, and resources. What is CTE? CTE is a common table expression, which is an expression that contains temporary result set which is defined in the SQL statement. What is schema? A schema is a collection of database objects of a user. How can we avoid duplicating records in a query? In order to avoid the duplicating records, we use the keyword distinct. Write an SQL query to display the current date. Get date, open and close brackets. What is normalization? Normalization is the process of organizing the data to avoid duplication and redundancy. Main advantages of normalization are to better database organization, more tables with smaller rows, efficient data access, greater flexibility of queries, quickly find the information, easier to implement the security, allows easy modification, reduction of redundant and duplicate data, more compact database, ensure consistent data after modification. You can give 2 or 3 advantages while if you come across this question. What is a view? A view is a virtual table which consists of a subset of data contained in a table. Since views are not present, it takes less space to the store. View can have data of one or more tables combined, and it depends on the relationship. And finally, what are the views used for? A view refers to a logical snapshot based on a table or another view. It is used for the following reasons: restricting access to data, making complex queries simple, ensuring data independence, and providing different views of same data. So that's all on the interview questions and answers, and all the best for your interview. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe this channel, and if you like my interview questions and answers, don't forget to click on the thumbs up.